I mean, that's certainly the line that all of her critics have taken, is that her failure on prevarication, in particular when it comes to issues like Brexit, have let her down. She of course, took power, took the keys of the building behind me because of that Brexit referendum. Her predecessor, David Cameron, stepping down after the vote went against his wishes. And since then, we've really seen very little legislation and fresh policy ideas make it into law here in the UK because of this absolute focus on Brexit amongst lawmakers and indeed amongst the government and Mrs May's closest officials. In terms of what we should look forward to next week, at least 8 MPs are required to support each one of those 11 candidates that I know you've been showing on the wall there in the studio. And in terms of the rest of that week, the first round of balloting will require 17 supporters from there on in order for these people to stay in the race. Those with the least number of votes at each round of voting will be eliminated. The following week, they'll need 33 MPs backing them, any one candidate, if they want to continue through. And what the Conservative Party hopes under this new system of voting is to have 2 final candidates by around June the 20th. A month on from them, they're hoping that more than 100,000 Conservative Party members across the country will have voted for their preferred individual candidate, and even that leaves things incredibly tight because of course Parliament will take its summer holiday starting the end of July, so there's no guarantee that even if there is a new Conservative Party leader that they can command a majority in the House of Commons. They can renew the supply and confidence deal with that small Northern Irish party, the DUP, that gave Theresa May her governing majority, and then we have to wait until the 5th of September, when in theory Parliament comes back from its summer holiday, and from that date until October 31st, the EU's latest Brexit deadline, there are exactly 8 weeks for whoever is the new Prime Minister to try and formulate a policy that can get through Parliament.
Willem, I want to ask you about the game that's taking place this time around Westminster. I mean, there's typically a strategy, and we saw with the Brexit voting how many different amendments were put forward and all the weaving trying to get to an end point that benefited someone. This time around, we've not seen that many candidates come forward to this extent. I mean, what's the strategy for so many people to sort of flood forward trying to get the top job? What's the thinking behind the strategy?
Well, individuals who have obviously put their names forward and will obviously see those nominations solidified on Monday, they have a range of views on Brexit, which is the issue du jour, issue du year, in theory the issue of the decade for British politics. And there are those who think they can separate themselves from the pack because of their policies outside of Brexit. And this is a really key point, is because we haven't seen a huge amount of legislation. Some of the thorniest policy issues facing any British government at the moment around housing, healthcare, social care, taxation have not really been addressed under Theresa May because of her focus on Brexit. So some of these candidates coming forward are trying to distinguish themselves from the rest of the field when it comes to talking about lower business tax rates, when it comes to talking about spending on healthcare, spending on foreign aid. And that's where they're trying to separate themselves out from the pack in a very crowded field. The question is, will that be enough to sway MPs? And that's the first constituency they have to worry about in order to follow them. And then second of all, once they get to that final 2, if they do, will those policy announcements, those promises they're making essentially as a campaign, be enough to sway members of the Conservative Party to vote for them as well?
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.